Hello everyone, as always this is visualbrony with another video for Pony and Wolf Productions, and today we are reading the story That's Not My Name by ManeBrony. This story seems to be a bit weird. I mean, I have been called wrong names before, but yeah. Seriously, I have been called many a name before, and people sometimes really get my name wrong because, you know, another person is in the room, they're elderly, and, you know, they kind of confuse me with someone, but, you know, I'm a geriatric nurse by trade. Well, I can't work in that anymore because of health reasons, but you know how it is. Anyhow, as always, here's an amazing list of those amazing people keeping this channel alive with their monthly donations, enabling us to buy cat treats for our little Luna here. And as always, let's get into the meat of the story now, because I'm sure I'm annoying you a great deal. Author's note. I had this idea for a story and then I wrote it out, and it was 300 words under the minimum, so I'm questioning if this was actually a good idea. Apologies if this isn't my best work, but let me know what you thought with a comment anyway. It was another average day in Twilight's castle, with 3 friends casually hanging out in the kitchen with no drama to speak of. Yet.
And then I dropped the cake. I was panicking because it was almost out of time, so I had to redo the entire cake in like 5 minutes. It was crazy, but I did it, and the customer had no idea.
Pinky shouted happily. Twilight smiled.
Wow, Pinky, that sounds like you had an eventful weekend. I hope you didn't get in trouble for that.
Pinky nodded her head and giggled.
I can't get into trouble if nobody finds out.
Twilight giggled.
Well, your secret is safe with us.
Pinky smiled.
Yeah, it better be, because I'll get you back if you tell any pony.
Twilight smiled more, not really taking the threat seriously.
Oh yeah?
Pinky nodded rapidly.
Don't make me get the feathers.
Twilight nodded, trying to think of what Pinky could possibly do with feathers.
Well, either way, that sounds like a hectic day.
Pinky nodded again, her eyes spinning in her head from so much motion.
It sure was. What about you? Do anything exciting?
Twilight shrugged.
Not too exciting. Reading, writing, reading and my writing.
Rarity chimed in.
That sounds nice and peaceful. However, Pinkie Pie, I must ask, how in Equestria did you bake an entire cake in 5 minutes? Even if you made the batter in seconds, it would take far longer than that to bake. Surely you were exaggerating.
Pinky giggled.
Nope. I just turned the oven up real high.
Rarity nodded, although she was still confused.
I didn't know that's how it worked.
Pinky nodded once again.
Of course it is, silly.
Twilight giggled.
Well, I'm sure she knows what she's talking about. What about you, Rarity? What have you been up to?
Rarity smiled, happy to have a turn to speak.
Well, I'm working on a new design that I think is quite lovely. I was inspired to make it when Rainbow Dash performed her Sonic Rainboom at her last Wonderbolts show. It's going to have all the colors of the rainbow, but in a muted tone, and it will be shorter than my usual dresses.
Pinky gasped.
That sounds so pretty.
Twilight nodded.
I agree. I bet you'll do an amazing job, Pinky.
The room went silent suddenly, aside from Pinky quietly giggling. It stayed like that until Twilight looked back and forth at the two, trying to figure out why no pony was talking.
Rarity,
said Rarity. Pinky started laughing at the situation. Twilight face-huffed.
Oh yeah, Rarity. Sorry about that.
Rarity frowned.
My name is Rarity, not Pinky.
Twilight nodded her head.
Yeah, I know. Of course I know that,
she said, trying to reassure Rarity. Rarity nodded in response, seeming to accept this answer. However, she stared at Twilight for several moments before speaking again.
Then why did you say Pinky?
Twilight frowned, confused as to why they hadn't moved to a different subject yet.
I guess because Pinky yelled right before I spoke to you and I was looking in Pinky's direction, so I got kinda confused. Rarity walked closer to Twilight. We've been friends for years, Twilight. Twilight blinked in surprise. Why is this such a big deal? Rarity reared up. We have saved Equestria together. Twilight nodded. Yes, I know, Rarity. See, I know your name. Rarity, Rarity, Rarity. Rarity scoffed. Oh, you're trying to memorize it? Am I really that forgettable? Twilight's wings spread out in frustration and Pinky had stopped laughing. I don't need to memorize it because I know you! Rarity continued. How could you do this? Do I really mean that little to you, Twilight? Is it because you're a princess? So now you think you're better than all of us? Twilight shook her head. Of course not! I don't think I'm better than any pony! Pinky raised a hoof. I can make us some name tags! She suggested quietly. Rarity spun around dramatically. I bet you can't remember anything about me! Twilight stammered for a moment. Of course I do! And we don't need name tags. Your favorite color is purple, your favorite fruit is plums, and you like to Applejack and tell her that it's apples. Pinky looked off to the side. Applejack won't be happy if she finds out about that. Rarity looked back at Twilight. Oh yeah? What's my grandmother's middle name? Twilight looked at Rarity in disbelief. Why in Equestria would I know that? Rarity pointed at Pinky. Pinkie Pie knows. Pinky nodded. Twilight rolled her eyes. Pinky knows practically everything. Pinky shrugged. Do you guys want glitter on your name tag? Twilight glared at Pinky. No name tags? Pinky looked to the side. Well, of course, you don't need one. No pony forgot your name, just Rarity's. Rarity once again turned away, beginning to cry, although it very likely was not real. Well, at least one of my friends can remember my name. Twilight glared. Oh, come on, this is really not a big deal. I know your name and we don't need name tags. And I know a lot of other things about you too. I know how old you are. I know that your birthday is on June 27th. Rarity whipped her head around, looking at Twilight, seeming angry and most disgusted. Pinky once again spoke quietly. Actually, it's on the 26th. Twilight went silent. She had to admit that one was entirely her own fault. Well, I was close. Unbelievable! Rarity shouted as she left the room. Twilight groaned and put her hoof up to her head. She felt pretty dumb after that last sentence. Pinky walked over to Twilight and patted her back. Don't worry, Twi. Rarity is just being a big drama llama. So turn that frown upside down. Pinky said, grabbing Twilight's cheeks and pushing them up into a smile. Twilight pulled her face away. Not now, Pinky. Pinky stared at Twilight for a while, and Twilight stared back. They said nothing for quite a while until Pinky stood up. I'll go make those name tags now, she said as she left the room, leaving Twilight to just stare into space and think about what she had done.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Common Thomas Visual Pony, where I will remind you that you can support Pony and Wolf Productions through the links down in the description below. Every dollar helps as needed and very much appreciated and helps to keep the lights on around here. And you want to keep the lights on around here, right? Because otherwise we cannot pay our bills and not record. So, guys, just one little disclaimer here. If you heard some scratching, meowing, or anything in the background of this video, then this is because this is the first video where little Luna has been in the room while I was recording. Why have I allowed this? Well, simply because the little one has to get used to me recording in the apartment and she has to get used to me doing voices. Most of the time of me recording this video, she has actually been running around the room, trying to play with stuff and all that. But right now she's sitting relatively okay, now she's stalking my pillow. But formerly she was sitting relatively quietly on the bed, watching me as I read the story. Now, for the story, what I have to say. I actually have met people who got offended when I mixed up their names. And personally, I always found it a little bit hilarious. Because, guys, it's a mistake. It's an honest mistake. It can happen. Okay? Especially if there are like 10 people in the room and you're talking to all of them. Anyhow, this is my hot take on this. Let me know your opinion on this and if maybe Rarity has overreacted and if she's really a big, old drama llama. And see you guys in the next story. And as always, I hope that this video finds you well in body and mind.